back to episode 2 of Calavera Beach. I'm Prez, and today we're going to be working on a pier and some sort of event hall. I'm not sure what it really is, but you'll see. We've got a lot going on this episode. Time to finally get into episode 2. Welcome back. I'm sorry it's been more than a week since the last episode. I know I said I'd try to do videos every single week, but this last week in particular was packed with stuff for me, and yeah, I just haven't been able to find time, but I did manage to record a decent amount of footage, and we've got a pier going, and okay, this pier is right next to the beach. It's on one end of the beach, the end that's sort of to the left when you're looking from the ocean. And it is, I mean, it's a basic pier, very basic. I'm using the design tactic that $2.20 used for his pier in Springwood because I couldn't really figure out like another design tactic that worked for a large pier. That design tactic is essentially to use pillars from the base game and use those as sort of the supports for the pier, and then use like ploppable pavement and decals to make the pier itself. Because the normal vanilla piers are way too small for anything that I might want to do here. So this had to work, and I actually do like it. My only problem is I can't really get people to walk on it because the way people, walk on paths in this game is very weird. I tried the invisible path method, but I can't really seem to get anybody to walk out onto the pier. So if you have any ideas, just let me know in the comments, because I don't know how to get people to actually use this pier. But there is no pier in Laguna Beach, which is obviously what we're basing this town off of. But I feel like piers are a very essential thing to add to a California town, and I couldn't exclude the pier. It really adds a lot of depth to the shoreline, the main shoreline here. Right here we are adding a little merry-go-round. I told you how to add it within the park last episode, but I decided to add it within the pier because I felt it fit here, and it's just a stupid little addition, but you'll see something like this in every sort of like town. They'll have some weird addition that it's like a gimmicky little thing, but it's like symbolic of something. I don't know. It works for me. And we also have this pier sign, which I move a little later, and I still can't find a perfect home for it, but we'll see. What else? Yeah, I'm placing these kiosks around here, just trying to decorate the pier. The pier is definitely subject to a lot of change in the future. I haven't really done anything like this before, so I had no idea what I was doing, going into it. And yeah, I do add a kiosk at the end of the pier. The same kiosk, $2.20 added to his pier, because it's really the only one that looks good there at the end of the pier for that sort of scale. There isn't really that much out in the workshop in terms of stuff you can do with piers. I hope there is in the future, but this is all we've got right now. But anyway, so right now we are gonna work a little bit on what we did last episode and try to perfect it, because once again, last episode was like a baseline for what we're gonna have in downtown. And this is like the main core of downtown. So I want it to be nice, well detailed, and I'm gonna come back to it every once in a while and continue to add more detail to it, maybe change some things around. But for now, this was that iteration of that, the change that we're gonna do to downtown. Did a little bit here this episode, adding these like tiles and cobblestones outside of this museum here. And I figured this museum's some art museum within Calavera Beach. If you all want to, make a story regarding that in the comments, that'd be pretty cool, because obviously you don't see a museum in every single Southern California town, but obviously Calavera Beach is very much a city of the arts, so integrating, I added some paintings like right on the outside of the museum, and I might even add more, but yeah, definitely come up with a story for that in the comments. Right now, I'm working on detailing the intersections here in downtown. Fortunately, I mean, one of the reasons I did this series is I wanted to break from just the detailing of all of the freeways and intersections and everything that, you know, comes along with building a big city with loads of infrastructure. The infrastructure for Calavera Beach is very basic, and it's not focused, you know, it's barely focused on infrastructure, let's just say that. And I'm really a major fan of that, because what it does is it just lets me focus on what I think is the most important, which is the vibe of the city itself. Last episode I mentioned I'd start accepting snaps for videos at certain times, and I'm not going to be doing that for this episode either, because I sent out a notice saying I was accepting snaps for the video and didn't actually get any snaps that were in video format, so I can't really like include anything within this episode. I mean, I got a couple snaps that were just either images or just text, but yeah, if you want to just send me a snap like with your voice and like with a suggestion or something, that's sort of what I'm looking for that sort of segment within the video. And, you know, just follow me on Snapchat, add me. I will send out a snap when I'm accepting snaps for a video, and you can just know from that, or follow me on Twitter. I'll also mention it there most likely, or Instagram. Put it on my story. Okay, the point is, if you're sending in a snap for a video, just make sure it's an actual video snap, not just like text or an image, just so I can actually play it for the YouTube. And yeah, it'll also be anonymous, so don't really have to reveal your name or anything, so don't worry, just your voice and your suggestion. So right now we're working on this corner, which was left unfilled last episode. I'm using a Brooklyn building here because it's really one of the only 45-degree buildings I could find, and it actually works pretty well, because obviously this downtown is not like a brand new downtown. Some of the buildings are a lot newer than others, but it does have an older vibe in some places. I also replaced that really nasty-looking vanilla nightclub with a old Spanish church a little later, so yeah, that looks a little bit better. You'll see that in the cinematics, I think. But anyway, we've got this jeans and sneakers store, which we detailed over there. I like that just because it has very, very detailed texture. That's the only reason I added that building. Good job to Mr. Mason on that texture. Mr. Mason, you should definitely like make more buildings, not just trees. Great trees, but whenever you make a building, it just turns out great. Oh yeah, okay, talking about amazing buildings, look at this asset, this Monaco asset that I decided to use here. So I believe it is one of the main British asset creators, I think, made this Monaco asset, and it looks unbelievable. It's so great. If you haven't checked out Pug Gaming's Monaco series, definitely do. Just look it up, City Skylines Monaco. Really awesome series, but some assets are being made for it, and this is one of them, and I decided it'd be perfect here because it looks like an awesome building to just place by the seashore. And look at this. This is like some sort of concert hall or some like event hall of some sort. I think it's just so cool. We're going to actually work on that in just a moment, but right now I'm actually trying to begin the bike network, which I'm having trouble with because the vanilla bike paths look horrendous, and the slopes of the vanilla bike paths are just terrible. So I think my best option is actually to convert the road from the workshop by, I believe it's by HAR, that's the rural road, the rural asphalt road with the white lines on the side. I might actually convert that into a bike road that just has bikes on it, no cars, in the asset editor. Maybe see if that works. I don't know, because that actually looks pretty good. Looks like a realistic bike path. Maybe I could use that, but I don't know if that'll work. We'll see. Anyway, this is just gonna have to do for now. It doesn't look too bad, and we add a little detail later. But yeah, these slopes are really messed up. Really don't like working with these. But yeah, anyway, okay, so the event hall. This event hall is just probably one of the best assets I've seen in this game. It's just so cool, and I call it an event hall. I don't really know what it is in Monaco, but here I guess it's some sort of event hall where you pay loads and loads of money to have your wedding or whatever just by the ocean. Who wouldn't want that? I mean, look at that. Really awesome location. Yeah, it's right next to this bike trail right here, which, once again, I want to expand. One fault of Laguna Beach is it doesn't have enough accessibility for cyclists. It's actually a really terrible place for cyclists because, I mean, it's bad for just riding around on a bike trying to get from place to place because it's very hilly, and I guess they can't do too much about that. But if you're like a road cyclist like me who rides roads, you can't ride the main road PCH really unless you're in a group because it's sort of dangerous. Either you get doored or you're gonna get run over because there's no bike lane. It's bad, and you got to ride the side roads, which unfortunately you can't, there's not always a side road to ride when you're going through Laguna Beach. So yeah, Laguna's got to be more accessible to cyclists, and that's why I'm adding trails within my interpretation of Laguna. See, we're working on some properties just on these cliffs here, and yeah, these are going to be some pretty high value properties. They're not going to be cheap whatsoever for whoever is deciding to buy these, and a lot of them are going to be pretty large houses, and this is the type of property that's going to be, larger houses, not crammed into small lots. We'll do that on the cliff sides in a different area, but for here, it's going to be larger houses. We will, if I can find the assets for it, be doing those smaller houses that are just crammed onto tiny lots, because I think that's also a really interesting aspect of these coastlines, just trying to cram a load of people into very expensive little plots of land. But here, these are some larger houses, probably even more expensive considering the space and room to breathe people get by buying one of these. But yeah, I'm using these cliff textures or these cliff assets, I guess, by Avanya, which are really nice, the arid ones, and I'm using the arid rocks near them just to try to make them a little bit more interesting. And I change it a lot, but overall I do like that because it allows you to shape the cliffs better than just with the vanilla cliff texture. And I do change that a lot, but overall I think it's probably the best solution in terms of cliffs for this particular series. Looks very California-ish, and yeah, I feel like the Springwood cliffs are a little bit dark. Not too dark, but I don't know. These are nice. Okay, moving on. We're working on this cul-de-sac over here, filling the gap between Pacific Coast Highway and the hall and pier that we just made. So these houses here, I actually take a while to decide which houses to actually use, so just give me a second here, because I'm just placing loads and loads of houses that I end up just deleting because they don't really fit. I spent way too long on this cul-de-sac. I'm using some pre-detailed houses from the asset editor. I'm actually using the ones that I used in Nevada because I can't really be bothered to open the asset editor and make any more right now. And the ones from Nevada are pretty similar buildings that I sort of like. So I'm using those just as a sort of convenient way to place down buildings. Still not unbelievably convenient, no fences between them or anything, but it works for me. I'm just adding my own hedges and stuff here, and overall I'm covering this area a lot, you'll see, with trees. We'll do that a little later, but the problem is with these fences and hedges, they look very abrupt when you just look at them from above, but when you add trees to the side areas, then just to cover them almost, it looks a lot more natural. And once again, Laguna is very, very covered by trees and shrubs and stuff, so yeah, not very artificial in most places, I guess. Right here we're doing a little bit of work on the main street, adding some commercial just to fill in a gap, because I didn't want this whole side of the main street to go empty. I couldn't fill the whole area because obviously the residential's right there, so I actually end up just placing trees in between the two. Another thing, I just wanted to thank you all for the support on episode 1 of Calavera Beach. I think it's at like 13,000 views and like 500 likes at this point. So thank you all so much for that. I'm really excited that you're excited for this series, because I really can't wait to just keep expanding here. And once again, as the series goes on, the video quality will just keep getting better, because I'll be able to start adding, mid-video cinematics. I might be able to, even like 2 or 3 episodes from now, just have enough stuff to take cinematics of to get the New Windsor style of videos going, which I think would be great. And also, New Windsor should be back soon. I don't know when. I might just want to do it for the next video. Maybe the video after that. Who knows? Just whenever I feel like it, I'll get back into New Windsor. Honestly, I gotta just get past the airport in New Windsor, and I'll be in a much better place, because I don't enjoy making airports in City Skylines. It's like my least favorite thing, but I like having an airport be completed in my city. So that's the difficulty. So I just gotta grind through it, and I'll manage, and that will be back soon, because I know a lot of you really love that series, which I'm really happy about, because I also love it. Like, whenever I put it in perspective and just look at screenshots or, cinematics from the city, I'm like, wow, this is actually a video game? That's crazy, because, the autumn feel is just so unique, and I love that city. I want to get back into it very, very soon. If you're new around here as well, definitely check out New Windsor. It's really one of my favorite projects I've ever done in this game. Definitely a series worth watching. But yeah, just the point is, thank you all for the support on the last video, and yeah, New Windsor should be back soon as well. And yeah, we're pretty much wrapping up here, though. We're finishing this cul-de-sac area, and it's pretty much time to say goodbye. So hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. It really does help out a lot. Subscribe if you're new around here, and hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button. You'll never miss an episode of Calavera Beach. And you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Leave a comment telling me what you want to see next in Calavera Beach. I read every single comment. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode.